Alright guys, what's up everybody, welcome, and, welcome to the Khaiza Toku Talks, right? We haven't done, like, a Toku Talk in a damn while, so, everybody get out, like, these emotes while you can, right? Where is it? Where's the Tokusatsu thing? Yeah, it's Tokusatsu time with your boy, the Khaiza, your favorite Toku fan, right? It's everybody's favorite Toku boy, rocking his Kamen Rider shirt, even though we're talking about Super Sentai today, right? Because today marks, or well, if you got like the sub version, but yesterday marked the end of Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger, the 45th Super Sentai season to come out, right? And holy shit, was it like a fun like roller coaster. And sometimes it could be interpreted as a little bit weird, right? Like Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger is like a lot of things. First of all, Zenkaiger is like their big overall, what was it? Super Sentai's big like celebration of 45 years of Super Sentai, right? You know, like infamous anniversary seasons that like came out, or like Sentais that occupy a certain specific year in a thing's like life, right? So 45 years of Super Sentai, and that was Zenkaiger and Super Sentai all the way dating back to fucking 1976 with the OG Super Sentai, Go Ranger! And, you know, there's a lot to say about fucking Zenkaiger, right? You know, at first glance, when you look at it, it's like, yo, this shit is super dope, right? You got, like, a main character that's not, like, the Red Ranger, right? Or the red guy who's always usually, like, the leader or the star boy, right? The main spotlight. He's like an amalgamation of Go Ranger, which is, like, what the mask is from, the visor is from, and another Sentai veteran, which is, Jakuo, or some shit like that. It was like a Sentai that was like mostly revolved around like cards. Oh, what was it? Jack Q, Big Jack or Big O, something like that. You know, like even Jesus, gotta start watching old school like Sentai like that. I gotta remember what they were, right? But yeah, yesterday marked the end of Zenkaiger, and you know, we're gonna be doing a review about it, right? Because, yeah, it just ended, right? It just ended. Even though, like, last week it was, like, the end of, like, that arc, then they did, like, another episode, with official credits and official, like, goodbyes and farewells and whatnot, right? So, that was a lot of fun. And, again, I gotta say, right, the overall presentation, the appeal of fucking Zenkaiger, its like forward appearance was pretty badass, right? I love like the costume designs for Zenkaiger, right? Because it is like it is 45 years of Super Sentai, so they gotta make like costumes that represent like all the Sentais that came before. And the lead guy, which is you know, Kaito Goshikita? Yeah, I think that I pronounced his name correctly. He is like a spitting image of Go Ranger and Big O in one. He's not like the Red Ranger, he is like a White Ranger taking in charge. He is the main Spotlight Ranger. His costume looks fucking sick, right? The logo is definitely like an arrow like pointing down or some shit like that. But I do love like the shoulder pads, I love his like cape, I love his like visor, everything about like the costume for Zenkaiger, which is Kaito's alter ego when he fights bad guys, is pretty fucking good. But here's the interesting thing about Zenkaiger, right? Zenkaiger is not like the other Sentais that came before, where in a sense, right, they were mostly human teams, right? Or just like human actors playing these characters on set, on screen, right? This was planned to be like a Sentai that had like one lead dude, and then the 4 other dudes that make up that team are robots. Because the whole premise, Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger, is like one dude and his team of 4 robot teammates, hailing from another universe called Kikai-topia, or like Android-topia. Is it like Android, or is it like Cyborg, right? There's like Android, Cyborg, it's hard to like tell the difference between the two. Is Zenkaiger. He has teammates that represent fucking robots, and they just like go to town and just like beat on dudes, right? And since this is an anniversary season, right? Each Sentai, member of like the robot dudes each represent a significant Sentai that came before, right? So the red dude, there's like a red robot, his name is like Judan, he's like a dinosaur robot, and he represents the OG Power Rangers, or Zyuranger if you want to be Sentai specific. The yellow guy is Wild Force or Gal Ranger. There's a pink robot ranger that represents Mystic Force or Magi Ranger. And then there's like the blue dude that represents Operation Overdrive, or Bokenger for short. And each one represents something, you know? And yeah, that's like, it's pretty awesome. Face forward, they all their power-ups revolve around like the gear system, and the premise of the show is about like an invading universe called the Toji Tenjo that hails from Kikai-topia and just wants to like invade the other universes, so to speak. Some typical fucking bad guy shit, right? And what is there, you know? Well, of course, now that we're talking about premises and talk about like plot, this is where we could like get into like spoilers, right? So spoilers for anybody who hasn't watched Zenkaiger. All the episodes are out on other like streaming platforms. I recommend one which is like which is Toku.fun. That's the site where you can like watch old Sentai, old Kamen Rider, so on and so forth, right? There's also Ultraman, there's also like spin-off like Toku stuff, like what is there? There's like the Garo series. I don't know what that is, but I'm pretty sure that's also Toku related. So check those out. I'll leave it in like in the chat below. That's Thai watching or Kamen Rider watching needs, right? So all episodes are available right there on that platform. There's also other sites that also could be very good, but yeah, all episodes are finished. They are done. They are done, finito, and so we're gonna be talking about it now. Where were we, right? Oh yes, premise, spoilers for Zenkaiger, right? So Zenkaiger follows the story of a young man named Kaito Goshikita, whose parents were missing, and they were like world-renowned like scientists that developed like multi-dimensional like travel, and they were secretly getting ahead of myself. And Kaito has been alone with his like grandma ever since, and her grandma runs like a discount like candy shop called colorful Sundays or some shit like that. Yeah, colorful Sundays. Oh, hold on a sec. I gotta like change the follower icons. There you go. Good. There you go. Good. Better. So, and then all of a sudden, some like gear hovers around like the atmosphere of Japan, and now the human world has been intersected with the machine world, or Kikai world, or as many would call it who are fans of the series, Kikai-topia, right? Kikai-topia, and that is basically a universe full of like machines. And some time has passed, everybody has associated themselves, everybody is like accustomed to like the robots that merged into the human world, into Japan, so everything's hunky-dory. Until the big bad guys of this season, called the Toji Tendo. They are like a dynasty of machine like rulers headed by a guy named Bokuwas, which is literally some fuckface on a wall. Like, he's literally, for most of the season, he's just a guy with like with a face and has like one arm and just like does this. He throws like tantrums, and he's the head ruler of the Toji Tendo dynasty. Then there's military officer Barashita, and then there's science officer Ijirode. Then there's like a bird called Gege. No, I'm not shitting you on that name. It's called Gege, or JJ. If you want to call it JJ, by all means. But it is Gege. Not like gay, but Gege, Gege. You know. That's what the bird is called. But yeah, right. Those are like the big bad guys, and 4 months have passed since like that those two worlds have like merged, and the bad guys are like plotting, you know, we should make a full-scale invasion of the human world with like the Toji Tendo, and that's what they do. Until like Kaito is like, I had enough of this shit. We've been living in peace for so long. You fuckfaces need to leave. Right? And so that's what Kaito plans to do. And with the help of his parents' tech, who worked on Sentai technology, right? They worked on like Sentai guns and Sentai gears, which are like little like trinkets that represent a certain Sentai and give the team like power-ups. So that's what they do. So that's what they have been working on in secret before they disappeared. So what happens is that what happens next is that Kaito decides to take up arms, handle the transformation gun, which is kind of funny now if you think about it, right? The past Sentais have been using like bracelets, like these types of shits, as like morphers or changers, and also as like communication devices, right? But sometimes now in the 2020s or like the late 2010s, we start to see that like Sentai has been like shifting around like the transformation devices. Sometimes it's like a bracelet, sometimes it's like a gun, which is kind of like popular now these days. There's like right now 2, 1, 2, technically 3, technically 4, right? That's like Q-Ranger with the fucking arm gun and shit. But there have been a few like changes with like the transformation like device role, that it's been shifting to these guns that transform, or like some other things that transform you know? And that's pretty tight, right? That's pretty tight. It's kind of like Decade route, where you have like the end, Kamen Rider, the end. Remember like Kaito boys? I remember. I gotta watch that season, right? But you get what I mean, right? It's kind of like shifting the transformation device rolls from like a basic ass like bracelet or something you put on like in your wrist or some shit to like actual guns that you shoot in the air and then they help you transform, something like that, right? And you know, I kind of like that though, because now we're like getting into like smartphones, and smartphones are like everywhere. Everybody has like a smartphone, so why make something that would like compete with a smartphone? Unless there's something like Kamen Rider where they do something like that and they have like the budget to do so. But most of the time, you know, there's always like cell phones, there's always like smartphones, and you know, like I said, Kamen Rider does try to skim the waters a little bit with that shit, with auxiliary devices that act like cell phones and stuff like that, you know. But anyway. So with the help of the Gears, Kaito, and a few others in subsequent episodes, Juran, Gaon, Majin, and Vroom, all become the team, which is Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger, with Kaito being Zenkaiser, and the rest are respectively as follows: Zenkai Juran, Zenkai Gaon, Zenkai Majin, and Zenkai Vroom, right? And subsequent episodes, each one has like their personalities, right? Juran is like the jaded old man. Gaon is the animal lover slash human lover, which kind of is interpreted like a little bitch, right? He's so like, oh, I love humans, but how can you love humans? You're a machine. That's where you're wrong. I hate machines as well, or some shit like that. Majin is a machine sorcerer, like a wizard, and then Vroom is like the bookworm, or the my curiosity is full engine type shit. And subsequent episodes, they interact, and there's this funny thing that I always give like Zenkaiger 100% of my attention, right? Because you know how in like past Sentais, right, where the villains come up with some like weird ass fucking weird ass thing, an idea that just like invades the realm of Japan and just like fucks shit up, whether it be like someone has like a tissue problem, or someone has like a common cold or shit like that, right? Zenkaiser plays itself a little bit smart in terms of like the, and this is what I learned from like a Toku related Discord server, monster of the week, MOTW, not confused with Garo Mark of the Wolves, mind you, which I would do like to have a sequel one day. SNK is kind of like prepping up a mystery game of some kind later on in the future, but we don't know what that is. My hope is going to be Garo. There's also like a kaiju game, which another like homie brought up to attention for me, so that could be also good, right? But all of the monsters, the team behind Zenkaiger, like the writers and developers, they were kind of coy and smart with that, and I like that because the monster of a week were like tied to fucking captured worlds that the Tochi Tendo had, and they could just like, I mean, it's all a matter of like choice and volition, right? You know, it's still like what world is best to, what's like monster is best to suit it for this position, or like what crazy like absurd like bullshit monster would they like throw out on us, you know? They just like come up with their heads like past Sentais, but this one they just like choose like randomly from like a pile of captured worlds trapped in like small gears like with the size of like this, right? And they just like put them out into the world, and the monster like catalog varies on the world, right? There's like mushroom, there's like a mochi world, like the edible Japanese dessert mochi. There's also a love world, there's a cold world. So many worlds at their disposal. There's like a surprise world, so it makes it interesting, right? That there's like a logical sense behind the monsters of the week, and I love that shit. Right? Because a lot of like the Sentais, of course, obviously, Sentai is super hokey as hell, right? Sentai is like, the very, well, is it, jokey, cheesy type of humor, right? We power up for like, enter a transformation sequence for like 5 minutes while the villains are like, you know, taking their time, you know, fucking some shit like that, right? It's hokey, it's cheesy. Not a lot of dudes can like get into like Sentai, right? That's like a huge like drawback, which I would like more people to like get into like Power Rangers or Toku stuff, because they're really fun. They're almost resemblant to like anime, right? They have like sort of anime isms that you find in a lot of like animes you go through at like torrent sites and shit. So, fucking, what else do you need to like watch Power Rangers? Just because they're like live action doesn't mean you can't appreciate like some like elements to them that are very similar to anime, right? But that's like a rant. That's like a mini rant. Anyway, but that's like Monster of the Week. They make like a logical sense based off of like capture gears, and like the bad dudes like send them out to fuck some shit up, like mushrooms, some ramen. There's like a ramen world, surprisingly. There's like a love world. There is a surprise world, box world, where everything is like a surprise. There's like a school world where everybody's in a school or some shit. It's pretty funny. And so this goes on for like most of the series until like the opening episode and the very climactic endgame ends of a Sentai, right? Where they're just like, alright, we gotta like pedal to the metal, we gotta end this Sentai to make sure the pass off or the new Sentai comes in, right? And so that happens, and what we are getting introduced to by this time, which is kind of different from some of the other Sentais, is that we get like more Rangers. More specifically, like a 6 Ranger, or like the Auxiliary Ranger, and a like Evil Ranger that later turns out to be good. The first one is like the Evil Ranger turned good, which is Stacy, and he's like a general at the Tochidendo Palace. He is the son of Barashita, and he kind of has like a daddy issue with his pops, because the creepiest aspect about Barashita is that a military officer, and he just like boned like 1,000+ women. I shit you not, that's like a line that he says. He boned like 1,000+ women. He just porked almost every single one, and one of them popped out to be Stacy, who is like imbued with like Tojiru gears inside his body, so he's kind of like a human/machine. So technically like something like androids from Dragon Ball Z, right? Androids from Dragon Ball Z. And so what happens is that we get introduced to him, and he becomes, through Tochitendo technology, he becomes Stay Caesar. And Stay Caesar is a fucking cool as fuck design, right? It's very much resemblant to the old school generation Sentais, like After Go Ranger. I think it's like the second one, which is called Battle Fever. And Battle Fever is like a 5-man squad representing like a different country. There's like Battle Japan, Battle America, Battle Kenya. There's like a legit Battle Kenya. It's funny that way. But yeah, it's very it's very much a callback to Battle Fever. And Stacy's whole deal is that he's trying to like surpass his daddy, and has like personal beef with like Kaito, because like, how can you be so happy, right? You don't even know where your parents are, right? I'm never gonna give up hope, says Kaito. I'm gonna like find my parents one way or the other. Then Stacy takes like a personal grudge to like defeat him, and then we kind of get one of the most best part one of the best parts or best like additions to this season, and that's by a pirate, excuse me, sorry, my lips are dry, a world pirate by the name of Zox Gold Tweaker, and he is a pirate that goes from multiverse to multiverse stealing shit, right? And he becomes Khaiza, right? Yo ho hoi, yo ho hoi. Yeah, he's such a cool character, I'm not gonna lie, because, first of all, his costume is absolute OD shit, because it's a fucking callback to Gokaiger, or, if you want to be fucking illiterate, Megaforce and, Super Megaforce. Super Megaforce. But we all know Super Megaforce is trash. Super Megaforce is trash, right? But yeah, right? We get Khaiza as the 6th Ranger in the Toku season. In this Toku season, right? In this Sentai season. And he is a swaggerific 6th Ranger, also uses the power of gears, thanks to his little sister, Flint Gold Tweaker. And he uses little gears that are tied to his brothers, who, I shit you not, pretty much look like SD Gundams. And the Gold Tweaker shtick, their motive behind, you know, why are they in this world and like what are they doing fighting the Tochitendo, is that they are trying to find a gear which the Tochitendo captured called SD-topia. Small, deformed, but everybody looks like a fucking SD Gundam, let's be real here. They all look like an SD Gundam. So they head to Kaito's world, Kaito's universe, in the hopes that maybe the SD-topia world is there. But the thing is, they don't care about anything at all at their first character arc. Is that they just want to find the world and give no regards to everything else. They're just like that much of a pirate gang. But with the interactions between Zox and Kaito, right? They start to like mend some like friendship bonds, right? They start to mend some friendship bonds, and they are now like good buddies. Sometimes not on the same page, right? But they're good buddies nonetheless, helping each other out in times of need. Yeah, but that's a Zox Gold Tweaker, and they pretty much become like the 6th Ranger. Off at first, like butting heads, but like I said, pretty much chill with everybody there. Yeah, most of the characters in Sentai go through like their own personal shtick, right? I think one got like their own shtick, which was like Gaon, right? Because like in the first like half of the series, he's always pretty much interpreted as a like animal creature lover, but hates, and also human lover as well, because he thinks like humans as like creatures, so he loves everything about the whole like planet Earth. But robots, he's like, nah, they're like disgusting, they have like a cold touch, I don't want to feel them anymore. And he would like go out of his way to like if it's like a robot, he doesn't give a fuck. He'll just like leave them aside. But if it's a human in danger, it'll be like, oh, sweet little human, are you hurt somewhere? Let me give you a band-aid. God, what a stupid ass character. But he does get better. He does get better in the second half of the series, right? He starts to like learn that like all life is sacred, not just human life is sacred, right? But I think that's like the only one. I think everyone else is just like, they pretty much stayed consistently the same. Well, I think like Majin, because Majin is like a shy like magic ranger, but doesn't have like the confidence to like talk to people and shit like that. She's always super shy and is pretty much into like the occult, but got over her fears of social anxiety and is now like talking to everybody, and a super duper cheerful girl, right? Varum. Yeah, he always stayed like the bookworm bitch. He's always is the bookworm. He never like changes. Doesn't have like, you know, oh, knowledge is all power. There's not anything in this like season that draws out like any character arcs, right? Like no one has like a personal backstory to them. And even to that extent, like Juran is like, he just plays like the old man part well. Like he's just like the very like, he's kind of like a self-aware old chicken, right? He always says these lines that are like in between other characters. This line is like, "Oh, you did a transformation. Nice going, senpai," or some shit like that, right? He's always like the spry old young. He's always like the spry old middle-aged man, right? That just likes to like talk about stuff and likes to put like Gaon at like level pace. He's kind of like the big brother or like the second in command next to Zenkaiger, which Zenkaiger just like he just wants to like save everybody. He's friendly to everybody, even though he has like personal stuff to like deal with, which is like finding mom and dad. And that's where like the season kind of like progresses to Kaito's like things, right? Is that with Zenkaiger, Kaito really wants to find his parents, right? But like the Tochitendo have secretly kidnapped them. They held them at their base because that's why Stacy becomes Stay Caesar and uses like similar technology with what Kaito and his friends have with their transformation guns, right? So they captured them, like solidified them in ice, and used like their genes. Well, not like probing. I don't know how much they work, but I'm pretty sure it's like probing, right? But they pretty much probed the shit out of like Kaito's like parents and like discover like some technology about them to help the Tochitendo in their advances. They're like their vital tools. Like the mom was like used for like some like things, while the dad was like Ichirude woke his ass up out of like a cryo sleep, brainwashed him, and became like an evil ranger known as Khaiza. Yeah, that's like the evil ranger, Khaiza. And pretty much that's kind of like a good like arc when it gets to like the mid seasons when the series starts to focus on like Kaito and about like his mom and dad, right? Like the first part, and also it's more or less about like Zox and Stacy more than anything. It's like less about like the team and more about like the side characters, I feel, right? Most of the season pretty much just revolves around like Stacy and his like baggage, right? Like, although he wants to like surpass his dad, but you always have this like good guy, bad guy like conflicting roles. Like, do I think this is okay? No, I'ma still stick with it. Do I think that is okay? I still feel bad. He is like drawn to Kaito's grandmother, and not in a sexy way. Not in a sexy way. No. There's no like Jill for like shit like that. No like granny loving. Please no. Please no. God damn. Because like Stacy sees Kaito's grandma as like a very strong resemblance to his dead mother. Pretty morbid in all practical, real-world sense. Some things like that, you know. But yeah, like Stacy has to deal with like his own baggage. He wants to like keep his friendship intact with Kaito's grandma, but like hates the team and hates like the pirate family, you know. But yeah, it's just mostly revolving around like Stacy and like the battles and exchanges between Kaito and Stacy. Like Kaito sort of like sees him as an enemy at first, but then tries to see him as a friend, because even though he's on the side of evil, we can still be friends. Like, it's kind of like a fucking Naruto Sasuke now. When did I say like Naruto and Sasuke? Like KOF with Kyo and Yori, right? Yeah, this is another Naruto and Sasuke. Kaito just wants to be a friend to fucking Stacy, even though Stacy is like, nah, bitch, you throw that piece of shit hand away from me. I want to be a lone fucking ranger. I want to do my own shtick. And so that's what kind of like the series does to those two specifically. Jesus, I did not like think about it until now. I did not think about it until now. That's funny. But yeah, like it goes on for like a few most of the episodes, right? And towards like the very and after like Kaito saves his like dad, and then dad like goes away to like find his mom. Then they start focusing on like Zox and Stacy specifically, with Zox like finding the SD Topia gear and what was it? Liberating the curse that happened on his brothers, Katsuna and Riki. Because that's like the pirate family's whole shtick, is that they're looking for a specific gear that could break apart the curse that befell on the youngest of siblings of the Gold Tweaker family, Katsuna and Riki. And there are also references to both of them specifically when they're in like an SD form. The red one, Katsuna, is based on Power Ranger Samurai or Shinkenger, while the blue one, Riki, is based on Zio/O Ranger. One does samurai shit, the other does fucking Egyptian Kung Fu. Like, literally, Egyptian Kung Fu. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, what? Yeah, I'm not shitting with anybody, right? His roll call when Zox pops in like the blue gear for Riki, it's like he does like a Egyptian dance and shit, and he pops like his like transformation gun and becomes like the O Ranger, and it has total fucking like ancient ass Medjai Egyptian clothing. How is that related to fucking Kung Fu? How is that related to Kung Fu? Because when he's in that form, he says, "Watch out!" Like fucking Bruce Lee shit. That's some weird shit, right? God. But yeah, right. Zox find the monster of the week, which happened to be the gear that he was looking for, and he needs to be a man and take it down. But then Kaito helps out and like helps out the Gold Tweaker family while they go out and try to liberate the curse, which they did, obviously. And then towards the very end, where it kind of gets a little bit whack-balled, right? It kind of gets a little bit whack-ball, or more in a sense, very Japanese tropey-esque, right? The main villain of Zenkaiger is God. Is literally God. Like, you remember the bird I was like talking about, Gege? He actually has like a dual personality. One of them is like Gege, and the other is God. And God wants to liberate the human world from the Kikai world, and just like liberate all worlds, and then maybe not, what was it, liberate? I think it was like trapping all of the worlds again, make sure they don't come into like contact, just keep every world apart from each other. But then Kaito's like, nah, I miss my friends. I miss my extra colorful friends. Give them back, you son of a bitch. And then after the battle with God, he merges the worlds together, and that's how like the world became what it is. That's how like the world became what it is at like the ending, you know? And I gotta say, like, oh, also like Kaito's arc, right? Or like Kaito's like words of wisdom. I didn't like get much sense out of them. And it's like, okay, I'll fight him, you know, cause why not, right? That doesn't make any sense, but let's just go with it. But you know, that's Zenkaiser, right? That's Zenkaiser. Or sorry, Zenkaiger, as like in terms of like plot. And then like the usual Sentai like pass the torch, right? Zenkaiger's time is done. Now it's time for Don Momotaro's or Don Brothers, which is gonna be like a Japanese only Sentai because I don't think America can translate that well, and because like fucking Hasbro wants to do like only CG Power Rangers, or like they after Dino Fury will be like the last live action Power Rangers, and they will move on to like, they'll still keep Power Rangers, they'll still keep doing Power Rangers, but probably something like the Power Rangers like comic line series or something like that, because those are pretty popular and banging. What else? What else is there to like talk about, right? Overall, like the season is pretty good, right? The season is like, it's pretty fire. The costumes are great. Some of like the power-ups and Megazords look clean. Some, or well, one in particular looks pretty like kind of dumb because it's a very like CG fest, kind of like a few like Sentais that came before, or like one I believe, when they were like experimenting with CG. But it looks hella weird while like in motion. I get it, because that's like their big banger Megazord, but it's just like, I don't know if I like this, right? I don't know. Yeah, but the suits are great, the characters are good. The Sentai gears are interesting to watch as the episodes go on by. Each like Sentai gear not only represents like the Sentai that came before Zenkaiger, but they also have like a callback power, right? Like some innates you to be very lucky, some gives you the ability to use swords, or some summon gemstones. All of it is pretty fun and like varied, all things considered. So each Sentai, albeit, you know, this is like the 45th Sentai season, right? It's still pretty good to like commemorate all like the Sentais that came before as a as like years that show up every now and then in episodes. So I really like that. Oh, thank you. Yeah, but this is Zenkaiger, right? This is Zenkaiser, Judan, Gaon, Majin, and Vroom, right? And then as the series later goes on, then we get some other characters like Kaiser, right? Kaiser looks pretty fucking sick. What is this? This is like the whole like, oh yeah, like the roster. Oh, it only comes out very small. Can I like shrink it down? Ugh, it looks ugly shrinking it down. I don't want to do that. How many pixels is that? 330 by 504. Oh god. Oh my god, that sucks. That really fucking sucks. There's also, we gotta take a look at like Kaiser, right? The flamboyant ass fucking flamboyant as fuck like Gokaiger pirate that has like two alternate forms, which is this one, which is based on Shinkenger, right? And then there's the other one, which is based on O-Ranger, and these are like his SD Gundam brothers. Ricky and Katsunar, based on like past Sentais, obviously. This is like the Gold Tweaker family, right? So that's there. Pretty fucking badass. I like the gold. This kind of like the growing like comment I find whenever I talk to other people that like Sentai or shit like that, is that most of the series is saved by two Khaiza and Stay Caesar. Oh, that's how it's spelled. My bad. Yeah, and that's like Stay Caesar, and he goes through like different forms. He goes through like different forms as the series later like goes on. Is there like a Stay Caesar Kyoka or some shit like that? He gets like fucking a scarf. I love that this like emo bitch gets like a good character design and a good character arc. Like, this bitch doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's always pretty much conflicted about everything, and you know, he doesn't know. I mean, he does know right from wrong, but it's kind of like always, man, I'm so lame. I'm so stupid. You know, that's like Stay Caesar. Which I thought, like, at first I thought he was a girl. All things considered, but that's a guy. You know, that's a guy. 100%. Yeah, he looks pretty cool. Then there's, like, power-ups that usually every, like, Super Sentai or Kamen Rider have, which we'll be getting into, right? Yeah, this one. So this is like fucking... Oh yeah. These are kind of like cool... Oh god, Reddit. These are kind of like cool ass forms, right? So this is like Kaito's like power-up form. Super Zenkaiger, which they use by a... Where's that device? Where's that device right here? Ah, right here. They use a device called the Zenkaiju Gear, and Zenkaiju Gear is pretty much like a callback to another Sentai element, which is like dinosaurs, right? And more specifically, there were like dinosaurs, these two dinosaurs in particular, the one that Kaito has and the one that Zox has. Where's Zox? Where's Zox? Right here. Yes! Oh, that's a lovely image. Holy shit. Yo, it's so clear. One is based off of the Dragon Zord from Mighty Morphin Zyuranger, and the other is a callback to the Q-Rex Megazord, or V-Rex. Yeah, V-Rex. I forgot what it was in a Time Ranger equivalent. And they both combine to become like this. The... Ugh, that's a lazy-ass one. Is there no like high-res version of it? I guess that will do. They become like the Dragon Zord, and Q-Rex had like a fucking baby. And that's what this is. It looks pretty cool. Then of course there's Khaiza. Where's Khaiza, right? Yep, that's Khaiza. That was Brainwash Kaito's dad, who usually had like a boomerang at his back. Then he had like a powered up form, a mega brainwash form by this fuckface in the back there. Ijirude. And he becomes super brainwash, he becomes like a mindless soldier. He had his own personal mech. Just like right here, like the Khaiza bot. Or was it this one? Yes, it was this one. Ooh, that's lovely. Ooh, that's lovely. Yeah, the fucking Kaiser bot. Great addition. Great, like, plot point for Kaito. And then... what else? Oh. Zenkaiger Zenkaiger, right? Which is like the big fucking final boss. Oh, all the Megazords. Yeah, which is funny because all of like the Megazords that debuted in Zenkaiger were like dual forms by the robots themselves. Like the robots can like grow big, and they could like combine with like their teammates. It's kind of like a fucking like possibility, like what was it? Multiplication type of thing, or like the law where you get to try on at least one of everything. So there's like Juan Garon, Vroom Majin, Vroom Gaon, and Zura Majin. All different like Megazord combinations. What else? Then there's like a super form, which is like Super Zenkaiyo. Kaito merges with like Zudan. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. What is there? Yeah, that's the big T-Rex. We covered that. Oh yeah, this thing. This was like their ultimate big fucking robot. Zenryoku Zenkaiyo, which is like combining the what was it? Zenryoku Senkai Cannon, right? Or is it? Let me get it real quick. It was combining this thing, which it's like a big like fucking gun that also turns into a eagle like this. This is like an eagle with the Zenkaiger face on it. Which, you know what, that's funny now that I look about it. Now that I think about it, this is also another reference to like the Time Force gun. Holy shit, yeah, it is. It's like the Time Force like flyer bot that also transforms into a gun when you use Time Force Megazord Mode Blue. Holy shit, I just put like the dots connector for that shit. But yeah, they combine with Judan, Majin, Vroom, Gaon to become the Supreme Megazord, Supreme Zenkaiyo, which is that shit. And gotta say, it looks pretty cool. But most of it was just like a CG mess, and looking at Megazords, at least like in CG, looks pretty unnerving, all things considered. Like, they don't look right. And, what else? Zenkaiger. I talked about plot, I talked about this and that, right? And let's see. And the new hero, which was like debuted in here. Yeah, this guy. Don Momotaro. And he's gonna be the main guy in focus for the next Sentai, which is Avataro Sentai Dawn Brothers. Which that shit will be coming in Sunday of March 6th. Sunday of March 6th, so we gotta like look forward to that. And I'll be doing like a first episode breakdown of that shit. Then we get some like little hints of Zenkaiger. But yeah, right? That's like Zenkaiger in a nutshell. Is it like my favorite season of a Super Sentai? I kind of want to say yes, right? It's because not only am I like watching this again with my cousins from Bangladesh because, you know, they can't go anywhere else outside of Bangladesh, so I gotta, like, be the nice good cousin, the nice good big brother, and, like, entertain them while they're, like, stuck at home. But not only that, right? I think it's a pretty good, like, season overall. It doesn't have any good, like, character depth in the main team outside of Zenkaiger, Kaiser and Stacy, right? They pretty much, like, help the series, like, become a tolerable and bearable season to some few, right? But yeah, right? Zenkaiger is like a okay season, right? It's there for, like, shits and giggles and laughs, which is mainly kind of like the point of Zenkaiger, I feel. It's there for the big, stupid, silly wackiness of what Power Rangers or Super Sentai is supposed to be, I feel. Not like I kind of agree with it, but I always like Sentais or Power Rangers that take a little bit more depth into their material and, like, explore, like, characters, explore, like, a serious topic or theme, you know, shit like that. I like that. But for the most part, this is like Power Rangers or Toku are weekly shows, right? They're not something like a movie where movie writers have to, like, draw a script for said movie. You'll have, like, a few jokes here and there, but you 100% want to convey, like, a certain message or point for this season. And a lot of Sentais have, like, a specific purpose or season, you know. No, specific purpose or theme that tells them about, like, a Sentai, right? That, you know, like, they're unique. Something like that, you know? But for the most part, Sentai has always been, like, the dumb, hokey, like, Saturday morning or, like, mid-afternoon, like, television series that you watch on, like, your public channel, and you just see, like, 5 spandex dudes, in this case, in Zenkaiger's case, 1 dude and 4 robots beating the shit out of, like, other, like, evil robots on a weekly basis, and then you'll cover on, like, some specific things here and there, right? Most of, like, Zenkaiger's point is that it celebrates Sentai, and of course it celebrates Sentai with, like, the gears and whatnot, right? Which will later be adapted in Dawn Brothers, because Dawn Brothers will also be using the same, like, gear aesthetic for their shtick. But, what makes Zenkaiger so interesting, I feel, to me, is that it embraces the wackiness. It embraces, like, things are just, like, flip-flopping crazy. Some episodes have to be, you know, follow the plot or, like, follow this certain, like, tone or feel, you know? But a lot of it is just, a lot of it is just pure wackiness. And that's what I appreciate, right? I appreciate Zenkaiger for that specifically, you know? Would I like a change? Maybe, like, a little. Like, have more depth with, like, Zenkaiger and some of, like, the main cast to make them feel, like, unique. And not just, like, Zenkaiger, I don't know what the fuck his, like, mind is. Every time I, like, see an episode, I try to figure out what, like, his reasons are, you know? Outside of being, like, the goody-goody two-shoe, like, helping hand type of person that he is. This is just like, okay, fine. I guess that's how it... excuse me. I guess that's how he is, right? So, not much to, like, go on for, Kaito and the rest of the gang. The only good one in fucking the Zenkaiger team is, like, Judan, because Judan keeps, like, everyone in check, and he's, like, the sassy old man. He always is. He always carries a little bit of sass. For the enemies, I would say no. none of them feel like they're memorable. At least none of them feel like they're memorable. Outside of Gege, because that's funny, because the big like purple bird originally was supposed to be voiced by the voice actor for Noctis. Noctis Final Fantasy 15. He's Noctis Lose Asylum. But then there's some like weird shit that happened to him, and he was like dating like the lead like performer. Ooh. Dropping some frames. Okay, we're back. Alright, good. He was dating the lead performer slash singer for the Demon Slayer opening 1. Lisa, that was her name. But then some shit happened, and I'm not gonna like discuss it. But so they had to like change like the voice actor to someone else. It still sounds similar to him, but not really, because it's kind of like a Japanese like tropiness to it. You always gotta like fight God or like some shit like that, you know. I guess it's like a Japanese ism. Is like they always gotta fight God. So overall, I would like give Zenkaiger like, if I were to like give it a rating or like a judging, I will give it like a 7 out of 10. It's got good themes, it's got good bops, it's got clear message that it is Sentai, and it's full flat out that it's supposed to be Sentai. I don't think there's any themes like, you know, just keep going straight on, straight forward. That's their catchphrase. Full force, full throttle. That's kind of like their shtick. But that's like inside level. Surface level is basically fucking just elements of Sentai combined into one. Combined in there. Many elements of Sentai combined into this season. So I would give it like a 7. A 7 out of 10. Like, it's cool, it's nice, it's interesting. Doesn't make much sense in terms of like plot lines, but I do appreciate this Sentai for what it is. You know, it's very much on the nose levels of like, okay, this is Power Rangers, and what does Power Rangers always have? Weird like robots that do weird like monsters that do some like ability like copy shit, or you know, give you nosebleeds, or like give you like some of the good shit, right? Some good shit. But it's a Sentai nonetheless. It's okay, which is funny considering, right? A lot of it of what makes Zenkaiger kind of like on that lower scale is that Zenkaiger or like Super Sentai financial sales are surprisingly low compared to other Toku shows or Toku series like Ultraman and Kamen Rider, which they make a lot more money in their quarterly sales compared to Super Sentai because of like toy merchandise. Most of it is just like toy merchandise, right? Kamen Rider sells a lot more because of their fantastic fucking belts and collectible shit that a lot of like collectible hoarders like myself, including, I have the fucking belt and stamps right there in the back. I'm still collecting more. But a lot of it is just like determined on like toy sales for these Toku shows, and I think Zenkaiger did okay, I feel, but that's just my opinion. In general, like, they pretty much had like bad toy sales. There's not like a super big like Gatai moment except for like Zenkaio, but that was like a CG mess. You know. They had like power-ups, they had like these different motifs that borrow from Kamen Rider, like power-up abilities, but nothing too impressive. Nothing too impressive to like boost them up to sales. And because it's also like Zenkaiger was coming out in like COVID, so a lot of people that were in Zenkaiger, most of them were like robot. Half of them were humans, half of them were robots, because you know you don't want to fill the whole like studio set of like people who couldn't be tested for like COVID. You had to like minimize the workload, which is like kind of like what they did, and that's also part of a reason why like the Super Sentai budget is like super low, is because of that shit. Like, it sucks. Which, if you think about it, right? Zenkaiger was also coming. Zenkaiger was airing episodes at the same time that Kamen Rider Saber was out. And how many riders did Kamen Rider Saber have? They had like 1, 2, 3, or let me like count them so that let me like remember all their names. Saber, Blades, Espada, Buster, Kenzan, Slash, Durandal, Sabela, Caliber. Who else was there? Falcon. There were like 10. I know I'm like, there's like a few more, but then there's like Storius and Solomon. There's also fucking Tassel in there, but that's like 13 fucking riders. They were absolutely fed well in terms of like money and budget, and how they were able to do that is because of like toy sales. People like love like multiple rider seasons, especially from like Kamen Rider Ryuki, that essentially build on like afterwards. But like Kamen Rider is, you know, just like a clusterfuck of like so many riders, and they still kind of like do that to this day with like Revice. But even then, like Revice is also another anniversary season celebrating 50 years of Kamen Rider that started from all the way at 1971 with the first Kamen Rider. But it's not like a big clusterfuck as it was. It's like Saber. It's not a big clusterfuck like that. But yeah, like, that's kind of like the sad thing about like Sentai, and they're kind of like doing kind of like similar things where one like Power Ranger in Dawn Brothers, the next one is like a CG one and it looks like a Sonic OC creation. One is like super tall, like a fucking giraffe. That's like a pink one, and pink one is a guy. Pink one is definitely a fucking guy. Yellow is a girl, which, you know, obviously that makes sense. But let's see. I hope for the best for Zenkaiger. No, not Zenkaiger. Sorry. I hope for the best for Dawn Brothers when it like comes out. Hopefully, it will be like good. The season again will air at Sorry, what the fuck am I thinking? March 6th. So I'm gonna of course be doing like an episode breakdown of it just to like see what the hell is up at like first glance and like give my overall thoughts on it, and then probably do like the same thing like how I'm doing for Revice. Like do like an episode like breakdown, and then after like some episodes, possibly like midway point, like maybe in summer or some shit, then we'll like talk about more about Dawn Brothers. But let's see. I don't want to be disappointed with Dawn Brothers. I don't want to be weirded out by Dawn Brothers. I want to be expected like good things from it, guys. So I don't want like Super Sentai to like die off. Hopefully not, right? Super Sentai is my favorite shit. Kamen Rider is my favorite shit. Getting into like the Toku stuff.